Welcome everyone to our weekly group coaching session. We're going to dive into some FormWise training here in just a minute. I wanted to take an example that you guys have. Hopefully your brains have been working all night thinking about what type of tool you can suggest, because tools are just tools, but we need the strategy and the use case to really get the value from that. But I was just talking to Martina about building the day in the business that we want. And it's so true. I just wanted to piggyback off of what you were saying about when we realize if we choose a day, I'm Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when I choose to go live for the 4-hour workday. But if that time, like Martina said, hey, I checked the metrics, I was doing 1 o'clock, and that just doesn't work for my people. It's so important, of course, to choose a time that's going to work for your people, your clients, your audience. But you can't forget that this is also about you. And you have to choose the time that's going to work best for you and going to fit into your life. So if 8 p.m. is great for everybody else, but you're like falling asleep at 8 p.m., that's not going to work for you. That's not going to be something sustainable. Okay, so you just need to make sure that you're accommodating your clients, but also don't put yourself on the back burner and just forget that this is actually all about you. This is about the business you're building, about the family that you're providing for, about the life that you want to create for yourself. And believe me, if you're providing the value, people will adjust. So if everyone is available at 2 p.m. and that does not work for you, do 3 p.m. It's only an hour later. It's a great compromise, but you need to find something that is going to work for you for sure. Do you guys have anything to add to that? Any experience you have before we dive into this training? Any feedback about that or questions?
No, I mean, I think that's really spot on. You always have to. It's called derived demand. It's derived demand is looking at what your market wants, and when you look at what your market wants, that gives you your metrics. Even in what Martina was talking about, there's another key thing there as well too. Michael Masterson, he has a lot of books, but he's wildly successful in business. One of my favorite books of his is Fire Ready A. And so the whole point is to get started with something. And in Martina's example, she got started with something and then she was able to adjust off of that. A lot of times people want to get everything perfect beforehand and then launch. That's not how it works. Nothing works that way. You have to have an idea and concept. It's basically a hypothesis, and you test that hypothesis with data. And the only way to do that is to throw something out there and then figure out what your pivot is going to be. And that's how it works.
Yeah. Well, imagine if Martina was like, okay, I'm going to plan my whole life around this 1 p.m. time, and this is the perfect time. And then she sets up everything, her whole system and all this stuff. And then she realizes, oh, 1 p.m. doesn't work for anyone. And then now she has to change all of that. It's okay to change things, but also don't think that you're going to know everything when you first get started. You're going to have to pivot and adapt, and that is never going to change. So if you have a hard time getting started, pivoting, adapting, maybe business isn't for you, because this is something that we actually become like experts about adapting. Like when you're in business, you're a problem solver. You have to adapt to constantly changing markets, constantly changing new methods and strategies. And if you're someone who loves to learn and loves the challenge, there's no option. You cannot be an employee. You need to be a business owner, because this environment is where all of those things thrive. When I was an employee, I wish I got paid as hard as I worked. I was always the hardest working one, always. And the reviews, the annual reviews would come around. We'd all get our raises. And I swear my raise was exactly the same as everyone else's. That's why they tell you not to talk about raises, even though we all did. And it was the same as everyone else's. And I'm like, Linda over here calls in every month, you know? And I'm like, I come in on my deathbed. Like, you literally have to like call 911 and then roll me into the hospital where I worked, because I'm like, I cannot miss a day. But Linda gets the same raise I did. Now, how does that make sense? I want to work hard and I want to earn what I'm worth. And so having a business, perfect for the people like us. You guys have anything else to add to that before we start diving in? Because I want to know your case study or your suggestions for this tool. I want to see who's got the best one. We're going to build it out together. I want to show you the whole process, starting from total scratch. Do you have anything to add about this first? No? Okay. Now, who has a suggestion for a tool that we can build? I already know, like on Martina's face, I have like 5 tools I need you to build. So who has a suggestion of a AI tool that we can build on FormWise? No one? You know, I will give you this tool when we're done. So if you have a, all right, Andrea, you're up.
Okay. I'm wondering if we could create something like you ask pertinent questions for like businesses that have that like they need help. They need the services for the Go High Level, and the main services, of course, is the email marketing, the SMS. So, can we ask certain questions that gathers the information, either scrapes the customer's website, existing website, draw that information from them, ask them certain questions, and turn around, give them like a PDF of what the recommend, kind of like a proposal, like an instant proposal type of situation, based on their website, based on their answers, based on based on everything that they have. They're all their digital assets. I'd like
So
to
what
see.
you couldn't create a PDF, but you could create a result. Okay. So
Yes.
it's just basically do you want the info on a web page or a printable PDF? So we can't create a printable PDF, but we
Mhm.
can just add, like on the results page, the answers to this
Yes.
question. So that's actually a
Yes.
really good use case because I think a lot of people want to know, how do you create a form that can basically sell for me? It's essentially what you're asking. You're saying, fill out this
Yeah.
form so that the form can tell you how HighLevel can help your specific business.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
let's actually build that together. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right. Now, the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tell Manus to become an expert at FormWise. Okay. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to go to the resource center. I'm just going to take this whole Manus knowledge base here, and I'm going to tell it to become an expert. Hey, Manus, I want to create a form, a smart form on FormWise, and I want you to become an expert on FormWise so that you can help me best structure this form that I want to create. And I'm going to share with you the link to the knowledge base so that you can learn everything you need to know about FormWise. All right, so I've told it that. I'm going to paste that link there. Now, while it's doing its thing and it's thinking and all of this cool stuff, what I want to do, I'm going to close this out and let's just start from scratch. Now, I can use the AI tool builder, but I've used this so much that it's easier for me to just go ahead and create from scratch because I don't want to have to delete stuff. I just want to build it exactly as I want it. So I'm not going to use even a template. I'm just going to skip all this and let's just straight go to scratch. What happened? Digital forms, start from blank. Okay, here we go. So we're going to call this GHL client. Let me make sure I'm showing the meeting here. All right. So I'm going to skip this tutorial. And the very first question is what we need to create. Okay. So what I'm going to do before I even do this, I'm going to go and put this on single page because I like to be able to see everything. All right. And let's also turn on the chat because this is really personal, a personal choice. But I feel like if we're creating something like that, maybe they have an additional question and we're actually pulling in all the data. So let's go ahead and allow them to chat with the form. And then that way, if they say, yeah, but what's the difference in the 3 plans? Then the form will actually answer it for them. So in this case, I think that's a great idea. So I'm going to go ahead and choose that. Now, our first question is going to be, let's have them paste in their website URL. So paste the link to your website. All right. Now, I don't worry about any of this stuff at first, like all this extra text, putting descriptions and all that stuff, because we don't really need it to build this out. So what would be the next thing that we want to pull in or that we want to ask them? What do you think? Anybody? Andrea?
I guess the business type or industry that they're in.
We could ask that, or it could pull it in from the website. But if we want to be really specific, and let's kind of combine that with what are your goals? So we're pulling in about their business. So that link is going to like teach the AI about the business. But maybe what we want to ask is their goals so that we can learn about the business and then tell them how HighLevel can help them reach their goals. So let's say, what are your goals for scaling your business?
And actually, can we make it like from a white label aspect as well, instead of like directly go high level?
You can, but you would need to have your own, like when you're creating the prompt, you would need to have your own like website there so that it could answer the question and know about your business. So it's like in the form, they're going to paste in their website URL, and then we're going to ask, what are your goals in scaling your business? But we need to have something for it to read to know
Okay.
how it could help. Make sense?
Yeah.
You totally could create a custom tool and then just add, instead of the HighLevel link, you're just adding your own website. All right. So before we get too far, let's go ahead and name our questions. So we're going to say website. We'll say their client website so that we know the difference. And then let's say client goals. Should spell right. All right. Is there any other question you could think of that would be really important to get here? Anybody?
Hey,
Yeah,
oh,
go ahead, James.
no, I just got back in. I was having some technical difficulties, but what's the goal of the bot really quickly?
So it's basically for clients to paste in their website URL and then tell us what their goals are so that on the back end, we can take HighLevel or our business and we can cater the response based on their business and their goals. So basically, if it's like Greenwood Plumbers, that's their URL. Obviously, now we know they're a plumber and we know all about their business. And then they tell us what their goals are to scaling their business. And then now we want the AI to take that information,
So
the URL of like HighLevel or our business, and then we want it to create a result that tells them how they can reach their goals with our service or software.
I got you. I guess I would ask like, what have you seen that's been working in your business?
Okay. Yep. So let's say, what has been working well for you to this? All right.
And more specifically, I'm talking about like what's generating sales,
Okay.
like what method?
Let's see. Let's say, what sales strategy
Yeah.
has been working? Wow. Even spell check doesn't know what I was trying to say. All right. Now, of course, anytime you can expand on that to make sure that they're putting exactly what you want in here, you could do that. For example, like here, maybe we want to put like an example, HTTP, my business, whatever.
Yeah, I love using that in forms, period. Just
Yeah,
the guide to make sure you get the right response back.
yeah, exactly. All right. So let's say sales strategy. All right. So let's start with these questions here. And of course, we would want to add email because we want to capture that lead data. But I told you how to do that yesterday, and I don't want to muddy it up with webhooks and all that stuff. So we'll just
I got
use
another
this.
one.
Go ahead.
How do you manage current client information?
Okay. So let's say, are you managing your current clients' information?
Also, I have a few because off of my website, I have. Does your system send reminders or follow ups via email or text?
Okay.
Let me see if I can put it in the chat.
How do you follow up with
No, does your system send reminders or follow ups automatically via
let's
email?
okay, let's just keep it simple just for this, and we'll just say, how do you follow up with leads? That way we can go ahead and, because most of this is going to be about the prompt, not so much about the question. I mean, obviously the questions matter, but I really want to get to the prompting part. So
Okay.
we definitely want to make sure that we name these things so that we can keep track. So let's do client info and let's do follow up for this, just so that we know which tag to use. All right. Now, what we want to do, since we've done all of this, is we need to now create the prompt. But before we do all that, and hopefully our Manus has learned all about FormWise. Okay, it's still learning. It's okay. What we're going to do is, and this is what I do, I'm going to take a snipping tool here, and I'm going to copy these questions. Now, what I want to do is go back here, and it's still thinking, but I'm going to say, I want to create a smart form to help me qualify my leads to see if, or to show them how, and I'm going to put high level, but all you would do is replace whatever your business is with this. Okay. So I'm just going to put here high level can be the answer to their problems. And then I'm just going to paste that screenshot and I'm going to say, here are the questions in the form I want to ask. All right, so it's going to give us a response. It is taking a little longer to actually do this. And I might, because I already have one trained here that I was using. But it says perfect. I can see your form questions for qualifying, go high level leads. Let me analyze your requirements. Design form optim. Okay. So I'm going to say, help me create the prompt. Okay. So complete FormWise expertise search. It's doing all of that. It's just taking too long. So while it does that, let me go to one that's already trained with FormWise, even though it's also trained with my other stuff. So that's what I was hoping to prevent. Let's do a little science experiment here and go to ChatGPT. I want you to become an expert at FormWise AI, and I want you to help me create a prompt that I can use for my smart form. Let's see what ChatGPT is capable of. And let's be fair. And let's go get resource. All right. It's still thinking. So let's go back here. Can you see the result though? Like this is so super generic. I mean, I guess it's okay. Define your goals and inputs, write a strong base. I guess it's okay. I'm really not that impressed with what this just did. And this is taking too long. So let's go to my conversation that I had here. Okay, forget everything that I have been telling you so far. We want to start something totally from scratch. All right, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go back to GHL clients. Let's grab our screenshot that we already have and paste that in here. Let me go to this and I just want to copy and paste what I just, oh, let me see. I said it. Sorry guys, I hope I'm all over the place with you here. I just don't want to waste a bunch of your time.
Hey, Bridget,
Yeah.
can I ask you, with that tool that you're trying to use, could it do like mathematical equations? A tool that'll do like math? Like, for example, I was thinking could I say it? Will I confuse you from this project?
Go ahead, because I honestly, I really wanted that one chat to go ahead and create it. Hang on just a second. Okay, I need you to help me create a prompt for this form so that I can pre-qualify clients and show them that high level is the solution to all of their problems. Okay, so I just wanted to say that. Let's go back here. So what did you want to do? You wanted to know about numbers?
Yeah,
Like,
this is what I was thinking. Creating a tool that if I come across a competitor with a price point, because I always have problems coming up with what I want to charge for my product.
Mhm.
If I come across a competitor, I want to be able to scrape their prices that they're charging and then ask the robot or the AI to write me a comparable price point, but distinguishing the differences between my competitor and what will set me apart. Example, I'm doing the voice AI for HVAC. I came across another competitor that's doing the same thing, but they're not offering workflows. So I asked ChatGPT to create a price point, including workflow that would keep me competitive. Because I have a hard time with pricing. I was able to do it with ChatGPT. I wonder if we could create a bot that would help us with coming up with like three levels of different price point as we add different things. For example, if it gave me the price point for the voice AI, if it gave it to me for voice AI, and then it gave it to me if I added workflows to that voice AI, and then for instance, if I wanted to add the conversational AI, right? Will it give me a broken down price point comparable to the competitor price point that I just gave it?
Okay. So what you need to accomplish that is a prompt, okay, that's going to do most of that work. What you need from FormWise to accomplish that is a number field or currency field. So what you would have to do is, let me think about that. You could have that. Let's say that I wanted to compare my vision agency with HighLevel. Okay. They're not the same thing, but whatever. I could say, ask the customer whatever. And then I could say in the prompt to scrape this website, use the information they've given, and then scrape my website and then compare the two plans. And you could even put something in there to make sure that you always are the solution to the problem.
What I did was, because I didn't have a price point. That's what
Mhm.
I wanted. I wanted the bot. I want the tool to give me that price point without me giving them one, because I don't
Oh.
have one. So what I did is I took what Go High Level charges, right?
Mhm.
What Go High Level is going to charge me, and then I asked it to figure out what percentage my competitor was making off the top if they were paying Go High Level. And that gave me an idea of how much profit margin they were working with the tools that I currently had compared to them. Once it did that, once it gave me that number, then I asked it, how much more would I charge if I added a workflow? And how much more, then I had to distinguish, break up each category as its own individual product. So workflow became its own product. The AI became its own product. Conversational became its own product. And it broke it down to where if my competitor was charging like a cell phone by the minute, I had to break it down for myself that same way. And then it literally gave me like different price points that I could add that kept me competitive. Then you decide what number you want to play around with.
You're getting very granular with that.
Yeah. But it
It,
worked. It
yeah.
worked.
So how do you feel? You said that it worked, but how do you feel about the results? Do you feel like they're accurate?
Well, yeah, I think they were really good because honestly, it only put me, for instance, if the competitor was charging $69 for just the voice AI, no workflow or anything, it
Mhm.
gave it back to me with the workflow at like $79 or $89. So the price point wasn't like that far off, but it was still like, if it was like a $10 difference, who you going to go with? The AI without the workflow, or the AI with the workflow, right?
So how do you know what your competitor charges for a workflow?
They weren't even offering it. That's what I'm saying. They weren't even offering the workflow.
Oh, but you're talking about workflow, the tool workflow.
No, I'm talking about if your conversational AI needs to transfer the call to like a live person and you set up a workflow to do that. I'm talking about it didn't offer that. It didn't. So they were just charging us. They had a certain price that they were charging per usage every time that AI picked up the phone. They were charging a certain price per usage. They weren't including the workflow. So then
This wasn't high level. It was another white label agency.
no, these people were high level. They were
Uh,
high
but it
level.
was a
And
high
I
level
knew,
agency,
excuse me,
not high level specifically, right?
it's not high level specifically. But it was an agency that was making, they were making their money off of the back end, off of the
Yeah.
usage. They were getting charged 3 cents a minute to use it, and they were turning around and charging like 20 cents. Right. So they're making their money off of the back end. What I'm saying is that those price points, when you start talking about tokenality, like tokens and stuff like that, it can get pretty hairy. So I wanted the tool, right? I know I'm getting really technical, but that's why I didn't say anything in the beginning, man, because we would have been here. You know how I am. We would have been here for like ever. So
Yeah, that's cool.
basically the tool, right? If you don't know what your price points are and you come across a competitor, right? That you have the bot scrape that website, it automatically tells you everything your competitors offering, right? At the particular price point. It'll tell you that right out the bat, right off the top. You know that from them.
So,
That's-
yeah, you could. Are you asking if you could create like a so here's one of the use cases for FormWise, right? You can create it for your own internal structure, your own internal processes, or you could create it for your customers. So maybe, Tony, what you want to do just for yourself is create a form where all you need to do is paste in a URL of your competitors and then have the prompt do all of that configuring, and then it will generate a response for you so that you don't have to go back into chat. I don't know how complicated your
no,
system
I
is.
mean, I
or-
already have it like projects. I mean, I go in
Yeah.
there and do it all the time, but I mean, you were asking for projects. I
Yeah.
wondered if this thing can make a tool like that. That would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, and you could use FormWise for sure. It also might be a great lead magnet. And also, when you guys create these tools like this, it generates the response, but it doesn't mean that you can't do like a line break at the bottom and say, and if you're interested in, automating your business, book a demo or check out our automation system, whatever you want to say. So it's like you can even have fun little like create a joke and then say what you want the joke to be about. And then it generates a joke. And then at the end of the joke, it says, and if you're interested in automating your business, da 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 da. So it's like, it's so crazy, all the things that you're capable of doing with AI. And when you're using these forms, it keeps you from having to tell people, oh, click here and go to your own GPT account, and then you can use this. And then what happens? You could build into your custom GPT that little static thing at the bottom. But once that first input has been added into your custom GPT, you no longer have control over the response or anything that's happening there. So that's basically how FormWise excels over like your own GPT. Most of us, our own custom GPTs are great for our use case. It's really sharing it with others that FormWise really becomes the best solution. Let's go back to this prompt here. It's generated the prompt here. Now I'm going to let me delete this question. And then I'm going to go into the prompt area, and then let's start mapping this out. So I'm just going to paste the prompt exactly as it gave us. And let's read through this prompt to make sure before we even test and start wasting all of our time that this is exactly what we want. So you're an expert business consultant specializing in Go High Level. And again, you would just use your own business solutions. Your goal is to analyze a prospective client's business needs based on their responses to a questionnaire, pre-qualify them, and demonstrate how Go High Level or your own business is the ultimate solution for their challenges and goals. So your inputs, this is what we need from the first field. So I'm just going to highlight that, do the little @ symbol, and then we're going to add that client website. This is why it's really important to name these something that you're going to know. Otherwise, it looks like question 1, 2, 3, 4, and you will not remember. All right, so scaling goals. Let's choose that tag here. And then sales strategy. Let's go ahead and choose this tag. And then client information management. So we'll use this tag, client info, and then lead follow-up. We'll go ahead and use this tag. Now let's read through the instructions to make sure, because sometimes it will put those tags in the instructions, which is so unbelievably cool because it's allowing you to really thoroughly give a response. So we have the client analysis, carefully review the client's responses to each question, identify their primary pain points, inefficiencies, areas where they're struggling, understand their scaling goals and current operational methods, go high level solution mapping. And as I'm looking through here, I don't see where it's going to actually scrape high level. So let's immediately go back before we even start testing. Okay, so the prompt looks good, except we need to make sure to create in the prompt that we need to scrape the client's website, and then we also need to scrape the Go High Level website to ensure that we're providing valid information. So please revise the prompt to incorporate those options. This is why it's really important to read, because it's so time consuming. Once you've done this lots of times, you go through all here, you map out all of your, tags and everything, and then you get down here to the bottom, just like I just did. And then you're like, we needed another part. So, okay, so now it's created this other prompt. So we're just immediately going to go back here. I'm going to copy this. Let's take it back into our prompt area. And I'm just going to completely replace all of this. All right, let's go ahead let me practice what I preach. Let's read through here and see. Okay, scrape client's website. And then we see where we put the tag there. Scrape Go High Level. And again, all you'd have to do is just replace this Go High Level stuff with your own business. Or if you're an affiliate, this is a perfect lead magnet in reality. All right, looks good. We see that. So let's go ahead and map this out and then let's test it. So I'm going to do the client's website. Then we have, scraping goals. Okay. Or scaling goals. All right, cool. Sales strategy. And then we have the client information and follow up. All right, so let's read through here and make sure that we put our tags. So we need this for the website and client analysis. And I don't see, but it is saying Go High Level, so maybe it just knows that. Let's try this. Let's not put high level in there. And let's choose the 4.0. We'll definitely choose the scraping option. Okay, it says use the 4.0. So let's do that. And save the prompt. Now we're going to go ahead and publish. I just like to do the live publish. I don't really know why, but here. All right, now I'm going to copy this. Let's take it back here. And we're going to test this out. All right, so now what we need is a link to a website. So let's just look for plumbers near me. I like to pick on plumbers for some reason. So let's just grab Benjamin Franklin, punctual plumber. Yeah. And let's copy this. We're going to pretend that Benjamin Franklin is contacting us here. And what are your goals for scaling your business? Use more AI. Use more AI and less manual steps. Let's just say that. What's the sales strategy that's working? We'll say ads. How are you managing your current clients' information? Let's say pen and paper, just to be funny. Because God help the people who are using pen and paper still to this day to manage their client. And how do you follow up with leads? We call them. All right, this should be good. So let's generate the result and let's see what we get. Do you guys have any questions right now?
I actually had a question for where I heard you say knowledge base. When you said, let's go get the knowledge base, where is let's go get it?
Oh, it is inside of FormWise. You click on Resource Center right here.
Oh, okay. Got it. Makes sense.
Okay. So we have our response here. So hello. Now remember, this is what Benjamin Franklin Punctual Plumber, if they went to our website or our form and they filled this out, this is what it would say. It seems I couldn't gather the specific details of your business directly from your website, but based on your provided information. So that's something that we need to look into. I could confidently say, offer some powerful recommendations, your scaling goals to utilize AI and reduce manual automation efficiency and whatever. So now we're thinking, well, why couldn't you do that? Why couldn't they gather the website? What's the issue? So I want to go back to the AI and I want to tell it this. So let's do this. All right. So I want to give you a copy of the output that it generated. And it said that it couldn't scrape the client's information from the website URL. So we need to figure out why that's happening. You guys see how like non-techy and professional this process is? It's like a lot of people are so intimidated by AI, but if you just talk to it like it's literally your assistant, then it just becomes you don't have to overanalyze this and think about like all these great prompts that you need to create. All right. Thank you for sharing the output. I understand your concern. Seems I couldn't gather the details of your business. The AI model itself does not have direct real-time scraping abilities. That's not true. Please review the FormWise knowledge base and make sure to formulate or create the prompt so that it is possible to scrape the client's website from the form. All right, so let's let it do that. We'll give it just a few minutes. Do you guys have any questions while we wait for this new prompt to generate? Let's go back. I'm really intrigued with this because I've used this already. I don't know why. Let's go back and look at the prompt. Scrape the client's website. Access the client information. Scrape, go high level. All
Yeah, it's
right.
the first step, so it should happen.
Yeah, maybe it was just a wonky thing. Let's test it. All right, let's go back here. Maybe we'll choose a different business. Let's go to their website. And let's try this again. This is why I really wanted to get to this part because this testing process is the longest, most confusing part for people. Because one, creating the questions, we all pretty much know what we want to know. It's just how do you get it to give the response that you want it to give? And that is the testing process that's really, really overwhelms people. So what are your goals? Scaling the business, automate more processes. What sales strategy has been working? Let's see. How do you manage your clients' information? Let's say we have a CRM. And then how do you follow up? We'll call it. Now let's see what it says.
Are you able to customize the loading screen?
No.
Okay.
After reviewing your website and scaling goals, it's clear that, okay, so it did work that time. I think maybe it was that website was something weird. I don't know, but after reviewing your website and scaling goals, it's clear that Complete Comfort Heating, AC, and Plumbing is a well-established service provider with a strong commitment to customer satisfaction. Go HighLevel offers powerful tools to address these precise needs, ensuring seamless process automation. And then it goes into automation and processes, advertising integration. By integrating Go HighLevel into your operations, you can ensure that your advertising dollars stretch further and that every lead is maximized for potential. I recommend scheduling a consultation to explore specific strategies and how we can help transform blah, 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 blah. So you guys see most of what we just did there was about waiting for the AI to be trained in the testing process. But that's how easily and quickly we were able to create a AI tool that literally pre-qualifies all of the clients. So now you could literally share this. Let me take this and get rid of this here, get rid of this. So you could share this by embedding this on your website. And actually, I can share this with you guys, but you do have to have a FormWise account. So let me share this with you here. But you can create a free trial here. Let me share this with you. All right. If you need to create a FormWise account, you can create a free trial, myvisionagency.com/FormWise. But you do have to have a FormWise account to be able to import that and then make adjustments and things like that.
Thank you.
Do you guys have any questions or anything about that? Once you create
No.
your account, you'll see the option to like pull that in to your account.
I do have a question
Yeah.
that's not related to this though.
All right.
Is it possible to, like, when you go into the email section of an account, to change the from email is without like kind of like going into like how Google Workspace you can kind of swap the emails that it's coming from? Is there a way to do that from Go HighLevel without changing like the user, like logging in and becoming a whole different user?
Yeah, you can. Inside of the from email field, let me go into that and show you.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was sharing my actual Zoom screen. I forgot I was sharing. Sorry. All right. So let me get into let me stop sharing here for just a second. Let me get into an account so I can show you. The thing is, though,
Mhm.
if you add the from email, it still needs to be an email address that is connected to that email sending domain. Otherwise, it will end up in the spam folder. So you can
Can I
change
share?
it. I'm sorry.
I said, can I share?
Yeah. Oh, I see. Keith in the chat said some websites are filtering for bots, and it could have been that for sure. Why that first website didn't work. But I love that it generated a response anyway. So it's like, couldn't gather the data. And if it's their website, they likely know. Or maybe they're like, yes, our system is working. It was unable to be scraped. You got it, Andrea. Do you want me to just pull up a template that I have available?
I got it.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me just share. So I not wanting to send it from this marketing.
Oh,
Right.
so you mean there?
Yeah. How do I
Yeah,
change that?
That is going to always be the user's email that is logged in.
This is the email here. I don't know why it's picking up
Yeah. It looks like
that email.
you're
Huh?
not logged in as that user. Click in the top right-hand corner of your account where you see your face,
Okay.
all the way to the right, where your little face is. If you do log in as, let's see, Andrea, so that's the email that it should be because you're logged in as that email. Just a heads up though, that we are going to share this video everywhere. So you're actually exposing all of your clients' contact information. So you might not want to do that.
Okay. All right. Stop sharing.
I know that's what open office hours are for, so that you're sure that it's going to be broadcast everywhere. I don't want you to have to expose that or get a bunch of spam emails and everything. So that right there, that is tied to, in the conversation tab, that's tied to the user that's logged in. So if you're building a campaign for a client or you're working as a client and you want to kind of replicate them, what you have to do is use that login option and then log in as them. And then you'll see their email show up in that area.
Okay. So yeah, okay. I have to log in
As whatever client you
like,
want
but
to
whatever I want to be, like, so if I wanted it to come from, instead of marketing and wanted it to come from me, I need to log in as me and then send the email from that sub account.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But just keep in mind, every email, every time you send an email, it has to be tied to an email address that is created in that sub account, in the email services. So if your email sending domain is kittycats.com, then you need to make sure that when you're communicating in that sub account, that you are communicating from an email address like info@kittycats.com.
Okay. And I think so when I go into that account, it does not show me that information. So what I followed a video this morning and I noticed like in the sample, like it had like, for example, like LC at digitaldreamweb.com. and then I recreated that, but the problem is now it's coming up with else. It's like info at lc at digitaldream.com. Wherefore I just want it to just come from straight away digitaldream.com, not the subdomain, the main domain. That makes sense. It's coming from the subdomain when after I followed the video. So I just ended up deleting it because I don't want it from there.
Okay. So when the email gets sent, it's
Mhm.
getting sent on a subdomain, but it's actually getting sent from your email address. Let me share with you, in the community, I have all kinds of training on this. This is something that is everyone, I mean everyone, including myself, when I first signed up for HighLevel, gets confused about this.
Yeah.
The email sending domains and email addresses and how you log in as someone else and like how to keep it from going into spam and all these things confuses everyone. So let me show you the training that I have in here. If you go into the community or you click on the Get Started tab inside of your dashboard,
Mhm.
you'll see when you choose your system to get set up, there's actually training here that breaks all of this down. So the first, where it says get started, this is literally super basic. And I'm not trying to say that you're super basic or you don't have skills. I just don't know your skill level. So I just want to make sure that I touch all the points. So this talks about understanding domains. So like the hierarchy of domains and all of that, how to create business email address. I use Google Workspace. You can create alternate email addresses. That's something you're interested in. Check all that out. Now, when I go back here, let's go into the course area. And if you watch the welcome video, this one here, it explains where all of your resources and everything are. But just to fast track you, you're going to set up your white label AI ads here. But when you set up, you choose one of your systems. This is just to resell the AI ads. This is resell AI ads with HighLevel. This is, give AI ads a bonus. And whichever one you choose with the HighLevel, there are instructions here that will walk you through setting up the email sending domain and your HighLevel account. So I think that will help you understand because I really talk a lot about, I don't know why everything's so wonky today. Let me go into, I don't even know why that's not my brand and it's saying I don't have access to this course. All right. Let me go into it. Everything's moving slow. Here we go. I want to show you where this is.
Yeah, I wish it was just easy, and I kind of wanted to start sending it from Go HighLevel to kind of encourage people to use it within Go HighLevel. Just little like coming out the email and
Well,
because I
so
can
it's,
easily send it through
yeah, we're
the
talking
regular
about
way.
two different things. That's why I recommend that training. So we're talking about two different things. You have your email address with the inbox, and then you have an email sending domain. Two totally different things. So
Okay.
if you want to check your emails and use your emails and all of that, and that training where I talk about like how to create your email address, I specifically talk about Workspace, so that'll be great for you. But that talks about really the difference there between your email address and an email sending domain. The contacts that are going to happen inside of HighLevel are contacts that you have already sent communication to. And then when they respond back, it's going to be inside of your HighLevel account, unless you do a two-way sync, which I don't recommend because then it just makes a jumbled mess inside your HighLevel account.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So you typically just like use your emails just for emails. You don't merge them in and like you said, two-way sync. Because I think that's what I'm really trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that. You certainly can. What I don't like, though, is that I get all kinds of spam emails, and then those go into my HighLevel account. So then I have to, like, filter them all out, and then I can't, like, block them and mark them as spam. I have that functionality inside of my email inbox. And so I just like to keep that separate. I know that all of my contacts inside of HighLevel are actual contacts that I have who have come into me, like potential clients or partners or something. All of that other junk stays in my inbox.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. So let me show this to you, and then Keith, I'll go to you, and then we will spin the wheel. This training right here. If you go to set up your HighLevel account with the AI ads, you'll see this here. This is a 17-minute training, and I cover a lot in this
Okay.
one little video. So I think that'll really help you to understand how all of that stuff works together.
Look, 3B. I will do it. And I also want to be accountable. I need to be held accountable because I
Oh.
started before with that 4-hour work week thing. And then it
Uh-huh.
was like, I'm doing something else and I'm distracted. So you're going to go back to it again.
Yeah.
And then by the time next week, I should have some more information to,
Well,
to share with
it's a
people about.
challenging thing to get your system set up. You have to be prepared. I say this all the time. The 4-hour workday strategy doesn't mean you're only going to work 4 hours. Like that would be like
Mhm.
such an unfair thing for me to even set that expectation for anyone. But it's creating that 4-hour block where you cannot be more effective or efficient in 4 hours creating content and all of that than what I have shown you guys how to do. Because trust me, if there's a more efficient way, I'm going to find it. Because time is our most valuable asset. And
Yeah.
it's to me, and it is to you guys too. It's the only thing that we can't create more time. We have a limited amount. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's just, we want to be efficient. I think I learned that from years of working in pharmacy and never having enough help. Like, okay, we're short-staffed again. What else is new? I am adding everyone's name here to the wheel. And Keith, do you want to go ahead and I see you got your hand up. We'll go ahead and answer your question. And then while I
Just wanted
enter
to
everyone's
give Anthony hopefully a shortcut instead of building out a FormWise form for comparing prices and all that sort of thing. I think if you're marketing to small and medium businesses, you want to convey, I got you. I'm going to save you a bunch of time. I'm going to help you convert a bunch of leads. We're going to put an AI voice and whatever services that are going to help them to convert. And people hate telecoms. They don't want to hear about minutes, cents for minutes or whatever else. So just double what everyone else is charging and offer a great solution. And, you want to convey that I got you. So don't worry about any of it. Tell me the solution that you want, how you're converting clients, whatever it is. And then just, double or triple what everyone else is paying. You don't want to race to the bottom or compete as a commodity or compete even selling high level. You just want, I've got a bunch of experience. I know AI, so you don't have to.
It's such a good point, Keith, because the last thing we want to do is make price our only differentiating factor. That's the last thing we want to do, because then it's like you said, it's a quick race to the bottom. We want to differentiate ourselves by the solution that we provide. And this is also why it's good to niche down. I mean, it's funny I say that. I essentially have niche down. I have niche down to go high-level users. That's my niche. That's my business. That's what I provide coaching and resources, and my whole structure of my program is for high-level users. Now, Martina is in branding. That's her niche. She might have different clients with different businesses, but that's her niche. She focuses on branding. She could even niche down further and say branding for coaches. And then now she's really notched out a place for herself in the industry. But it's going to be about the solutions that Martina provides in branding for coaches. And it's not going to be about the cost.
So I just wanted to add one caveat to protect yourself from the blade charging and all that, is just say, if this is going really well and you're killing it with it, I provide a bunch of time. But if the volume goes really well and you're converting a lot of leads, there are going to be a few extra charges, and you can lay it out on some page they're never going to look at, but be clear about it. So you do want to protect yourself in case it does go huge, but they're going to be happy. So it's not like this is failing, we need more money. This is doing great and we need more money.
Yeah, and that there's kind of a double-edged sword with that providing more time, right? Because providing more time in the beginning is great because it helps you learn more. It also helps you get a really good idea of your clients and what their needs are and how you want to structure your onboarding and all of that. And let's be honest, if you're not making a lot of sales, I mean, that's definitely gonna the personal connection is definitely gonna help you to make more sales. But also think about the future. You know, if you're providing a lot of time in the beginning, how are you going to transition that? And are you still, when you transition and you're not providing that time, are you still going to have the value inside of your program that is valuable to them, right? So
No,
if
no,
somebody
I
comes in,
completely agree. Sorry to confuse the issue. I meant
no, that's okay.
the charges within HighLevel for the AI time or the messaging time,
Yeah.
not your time.
Oh yeah, it's just a good point though, because it's valid what you said. But a lot of people when they first start, you know, that is their time. And it's not like a waste of time because like I said, you are learning and you're fine-tuning and you're doing all those things. But you do want to always have in mind the scalability and what's this process that you're doing right now, what's that going to look like in the future?
Absolutely.
Martina, go ahead and get you and we'll spin the wheel.
So I know you were looking initially at the beginning for some of our case study ideas. I know, when you work in the background and you hear some of our comments, just to give you a thought process, I know for the niche that it seems like I'm being requested for in branding is now dealing with, the whole golf tournament and foundations and all of that. And I guess the form that I would be looking to find out is when these people come and they're ready to get started with their online persona. I would want the case study to be about what is it that they need to be prepared with in order for me to build out their system. So something along the lines of, have you put together your mission, your vision, your goals? Have you put in your sponsorship tiers? Have you determined who it is you want to target? Are you trying to target locally? Are you trying to target nationally? So I would want to be able to have something that would pre-qualify them in that aspect to have as much content available from them if they have no presence yet and they're just getting started out. So I can make sure to structure everything correctly and put as much into their first event or their first tournament or their first whatever to launch their nonprofit. So that would be a case study I'd be interested in figuring out how I could put something together because I've already been pitched for another golf tournament that's 25 years in the making. And so I know I'll be able to get great back history on it. But what about the person who's just getting started? How would I help them develop their back history or their start history? And I know that isn't a word, but you get what I'm saying.
So if they're an existing client, when you said all that, I literally was building the automation in my brain. And I was thinking you should have a form, not even a FormWise form, just a regular HighLevel form. And what you can do, especially if they're already a client, you could create a snapshot. And honestly, if this is your second one, I would be creating a snapshot of the first one that you've already done. Because now
this will be
you
the
have
third
this-
one.
yeah, you have this. Yeah, you have that moving forward, and maybe you want to carve out a niche for this because you already have the system. So I say all of that because that's in preparation for the form that they can fill out. Martina, you can create a snapshot. You know, like the snapshot that I have for you guys, where you fill in your colors and all of that, and then it automatically updates the website. You can get content too. So if you create custom values where they're going to put in the price for the 3 different plans, and you can update that entire system based off of the answers from that form. So it's essentially like they're filling out the form and creating and customizing their entire account without you even touch it.
Exactly. Yes. Golden nuggets, mic drop, gems, bars, all of those different hashtags. Yes. Okay.
Yep, that's exactly what you need to do. And you are going to be the branding events like master of the universe.
Absolutely. That's dope.
Gonna
And
be-
to have one that's just starting out and then a different one that's 5 years in the making, and then to acquire this one that's 25 years in the making attached to a university is going to be 3 very, very amazing case studies.
Yeah. Yeah. And now you're really fine to it's like that niche was actually created for you already. It's like
Yes.
so that niche is yours. It's going to be hashtag brand master events.
Events. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Thank you for that. All of you that are touching and agreeing with me. Yes, thank you.
All right. I want to call out your guys' name. Let me know if I do not call your name. I'm going to share the screen here for the wheel. So
Let's see if mine says Mini Bridget, y'all. Mine says say Mini Bridget.
So if I do not call your name, let me know. For those of you who are new, every Friday, if you join our weekly group coaching session, you will get your name entered into the wheel to win a free private consultation with me. So I want to make sure that I have called your name. If I do not call your name, make sure to yell it out and let me know before we spin. I have Keith, Andrea, Martina, Anthony, Charles, Deb, Frankie, Manolo, Maria, Rick, or Sandy. Did I miss anyone? Going once, twice. Alrighty, let's spin the wheel. And it's Rick. I think Rick won last week too, didn't he?
Congrats, Rick.
All right. Congratulations.
Hey, great.
I will send you the link when we're done here.
Another light bulb moment.
Awesome. Did you guys have any other questions for me before we go for the weekend?
You probably just want to let Deb know where she can access the recording.
You guys can actually access the recording either on YouTube once I upload it, or you can click the same link that you clicked to join the meeting, and you'll see that list of all the meetings. You'll see watch recording or watch the replay, I think it says. You'll be able to watch it then. It does take Zoom a little bit to process the recording, so it'll probably be available in like an hour or so. Cool. All right. Thank you all so much for joining me. Another great training day, and I will see you all on Monday. And I don't know, I cannot remember who asked me this last week, and they were asking, Andrea, was it you or Sandy? Cannot remember. Somebody was asking me about how to send reminders before a payment is due. I actually figured that out. So I want to do a training on that on Monday, because somebody asked me that. I did not know the answer. And then I just discovered it. So now, of course, I have to share it. But anyway, if that was one of you, I will be doing the training on Monday. If that's any of the rest of you, definitely. Okay, Sandy said I didn't ask, but would love to know. Okay, if you can't wait, there is a trigger called Date Reminder. Check it out, and I'll show you more on Monday. Have an awesome weekend, you guys. Go make your vision a reality. Bye.